returned to her regular high school, fate reintroduced her to the only thing that had made her feel proud of herself as a child, performing.
A few of my new friends were in drama honors, and so I decided that I was going to be in drama honors with them. So I walked into the class and just sat down.
In order to get to drama honors, you have to do drama 1, drama 2, drama 3. And Vanessa came in one day with another friend of ours wanting to audition for drama honors, and she hadn't taken the other classes.
And he said, have you had all the other drama classes that would cause you to now be in my drama honors class? And I said, yes, because I was such a good liar. And he said, well, everyone has to audition.
Not only was she amazing, but I could see her hand shaking, and I just remember thinking, that takes so much courage for somebody to get up there and do what she did and be amazing at it.
Vanessa quickly found that drama was more than a way to be in class with her friends. It was a constructive way to redirect the pain she suffered at home and in her heart.
I remember loving it right away because I could be someone else. And that's all I wanted, was to be someone other than myself. And so I got to be other people, and then I got a lot of praise for it.
With newfound encouragement, Vanessa set a goal for herself. She wanted to graduate from high school.
So I fought to get really good grades and had to take, I think, 9 classes my senior year to graduate with my class.
Well, when she got her diploma and it was on the football field, I just wanted to go out there and scream at the top of my lungs that she made it.
After graduation and a brief stint at community college, Vanessa moved to Los Angeles, not to pursue an acting career, but to leave the desert and all its bad memories behind. The change of scenery, however, did little to change Vanessa's lifestyle. She remained directionless and continued to drink heavily.
I decided to go to beauty school, dropped out of that. I probably had maybe 6 or 7 jobs that year, quit all of them. I just felt like a loser, and I knew it, and I didn't want to be sober long enough to realize that I just really had no idea what I wanted to do with my life.
In the midst of her aimlessness, Vanessa was threatened by a potentially deadly discovery.
I was 18 when I had my first lump, and I went to the doctor, and he really scared me because, he said breast cancer.
And of course, as a mother, you're always scared when anything like that comes up. But I've always had my intuition that says, I think this is going to be okay.
The outcome at that time was that it was fine, and until about 12 months later, then I got another lump in my breast.
And I think it happened for a 3rd time.
I've had 4 lumps removed from my breast. I did not actually have breast cancer, but we thought that I did at one point. So I have to get mammograms, and it's very young to be getting all of that done.
The scare of breast cancer behind her, in 1990, Vanessa had just turned 21 years old. She was living with her girlfriend Melissa, drinking a lot and barely making the rent.
We'd been in LA a few years, and we weren't really getting a lot accomplished, going out to bars every night and sleeping all day and stuff like that.
My mother was always calling me and trying to help me, and I would always lie to her about everything and tell her everything was fine and that my job was good and school was great, and and then I'd just go out and drink.
I knew that she was drinking, but I didn't realize it was as bad as what she's told me later that it was.
One night, while out at a Los Angeles nightclub, Vanessa met a man whose confidence in her would change the direction of her life. 80s pop icon, Prince.
His bodyguard came up to me and said, Prince wants to know if you want to dance. And I said, tell him no, thank you. Probably about 20 minutes later, Prince came over himself, looked at me really close like this in the face, and then turned around and walked back over to his table. And so I had no idea what that was about. And finally, we were getting ready to leave, and we went to the bathroom, and we had to pass his table to go to the bathroom. And he said, sit down next to me. I sat down next to him. And then he said, do you want to trade shoes? And I said, well, I'm a 6.5. And he said, me too. So we traded shoes, and we've been friends ever since.
There's been a few men that have been very positive, and he was definitely one of the big ones. And that warms my heart because she needed that.
Prince also told Vanessa that she needed to quit abusing alcohol and drugs if she ever wanted to move her life forward.
He's the one who told me, you know, you can't do that and be exceptional in life. And I never wanted to let him down or for him to think I wasn't exceptional. So I got sober and I quit.
Getting sober, however, was only the first step towards Vanessa's recovery.
I actually felt very overwhelmed when I got sober. It wasn't hard for me to not do it, but the uncomfortable feelings that I felt were there all the time now.
And then, fate once again turned Vanessa toward performing. She was driving a girlfriend to an audition for a play, and the director singled out Vanessa to read for the part.
The director there said, "Are you going to audition?" And I said, "No, I'm not an actress." And he said, "Perfect. So, you know, why don't you go ahead and audition?" And so I said, "All right," and I did, and I got the part.
That first part led Vanessa to the lead role in a small production of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. After the show, a talent manager found Vanessa backstage and offered to represent her. Dropping her father's name, Ortiz, in favor of her mother's maiden name, Marcel, Vanessa began her career.
I really had no idea what I was doing.
Next, Vanessa almost walks out of the audition that would change her life.
I said, "I'm going to leave because I don't think this is the right audition for me."
And later, Vanessa learns that a fancy zip code doesn't necessarily guarantee happiness.
Vanessa didn't have a very fun time over at 90210.
I had never been so unhappy before in a work situation.
When Lifetime's intimate portrait of Vanessa Marcel returns. Welcome back to an intimate portrait of Vanessa Marcel. In 1992, 23-year-old Vanessa Marcel had survived a painful childhood and cleaned herself up from drugs and alcohol. She was a standout in a few small theater productions and began auditioning in Hollywood. Nervous and frightened, Vanessa nearly walked out of the very audition that would change her life forever, General Hospital.
There was like probably 20 girls that looked like supermodels. I sat down and the girls kind of all looked at me, you know, with that look, and it reminded me of being in middle school again, where I wasn't cool. And so I got up and I called Linda and I said, "I'm going to leave because I don't think this is the right audition for me." And she said, "No, please don't leave." And I said, "Yeah, I'm definitely not going to get this part." And I hung up the phone, I started to walk out, and Mark Teschner, the casting director, he walked out and he called my name. And I went in and I read.
She walked in the room with an energy and power of someone, what I saw, someone who kind of knew pain and was going to move forward through it. Damn it, didn't matter. She was just going to push forward. And that's exactly what we were looking for in Brenda.
Even when Vanessa was offered the coveted role, insecurities instilled in her as a little girl fueled her self-doubt.
I was hysterically excited when they told me. And I kept on saying, "Are you sure? Are you sure? And is there any way it could be a mistake?"
There was no mistake. Just a few months after being spotted on stage, Vanessa was on television, and she was terrified.
Every time the camera came to me, I forgot my lines. Every time. To the point where I was pretty sure I was going to be fired.
She was probably nervous because she wanted to do really good work every time she went out there. She wanted to nail it.
But Vanessa knew that this wasn't just a chance at a good job. It was a chance at a good life.
We used to sleep until 3 or 4 in the afternoon and, you know, hang out all night. And then all of a sudden here she was having these really super early call times and having to go and work all day.
Acting has been the only thing that's kept me responsible because I love it so much. So I decided to try to grow up a little bit.
It was the first time in her life where, you know, she was suiting up and showing up every day.
Vanessa settled into her new job and found that she could draw on the experiences of her own life to add dimension to her character, Brenda Barrett.
I really thought, well, you know, no one really realizes that the bad girl, she's good in a lot of ways, and there's things about her that the bad girl does cry. And so I kind of brought a little bit of my personal teenage life into her.
It was not long before audiences fell in love with Brenda Barrett, and of course, with Vanessa Marcel.
Vanessa brings an accessibility to every role that she plays so that the audience can get inside and really feel what it is that she's putting out or as a character.
Ned.
That's right.
I'm Brenda. Julia's sister.
Sister.
Mm-hmm. She keeps me under lock and key. She's off with the manager someplace.
Yeah, I heard that. You wouldn't happen to know where they are. They don't know anything downstairs.
And sit down.
No, thanks. I think I better go try to find Julia.
So, you and Julia, you're friends?
There's just something about her when you watch her. There's something intriguing about her. You know, there's some sparkle in the eye that makes you want to watch more.
By 1995, Vanessa had become a favorite of soap opera fans, especially as she collected one love interest after another.
There was Antonio Sabato Jr. when she was in high school, and then there was Ricky Martin. And then after Ricky Martin came Maurice Bernard. Maurice walked in and we looked at each other, and I have never to this day felt the kind of lightning bolt that I felt when I looked at him with another actor that I was working with.
I know that she was green as far as an actor to start off with, but she was more driven than I've ever seen anybody.
I really had no idea what I was doing, really, until they gave me a storyline with him, and he said, listen, you're cute, but you suck. And cute's not going to get you very far. And so if you want to work with me, you got to be good.
I don't know if I said you're cute and you suck. Maybe I did, but I always knew she had a lot going on, you know, in the eyes. She had great eyes. And she had this kind of fire. And I knew that if we were going to do this, I wanted her to just to be a better actress.